What's up, everybody? Cass here with another episode of the Static Noise Radio, or as I like to affectionately refer to it as, the SNR. This week, I'm back in the interview game. I got on the phone with the singer of a band from California. His band is up and coming on Salt of the Earth Records. The band's name is Atala. They played the Roadburn Festival, and they even got to work with Billy fucking Anderson. Now this guy, for those of you who don't know, has done a lot of work with the Melvins and did some work with Mastodon as well. We're a huge Mastodon fan at the SNR here, so we approve. Anyway, I spoke with Kyle Stratton. He does the vocals and guitar for Atala. He kind of gave me the exclusive on Labyrinth of Ashmedai. That's their new album coming out January 26th. Again, that's with Salt of the Earth Records. Now, just a little aside, for those of you who don't know, Salt of the Earth Records has a ton of awesome bands on that label. I'd be willing to talk to so many more of them. You know, get at me. Anyway, buckle in, you guys. I got a long haul of a song for you. Sit still, don't go anywhere, and listen up, because coming at you is Death's Dark Tomb by Atala. Enjoy. You heard it here, folks. It was Death's Dark Tomb by Atala here on the SNR. Yeah, I know. It's a radio thing. So what? You're listening to it. You know what this is about. Come on. I've been up front the whole time. It's a radio gimmick. Anyway, next up I've got the interview with Kyle. You know, it's my first one in quite some time. You know, as I've mentioned previously, I took a little bit of a break from doing the whole interview and show thing, but I'm fucking back, baby! So, you'll have to forgive me a little bit. In the beginning, it's a little, on my end anyway, it's knocking the rust off. You know, a little bit further into the interview, we get a little bit more comfortable, and I had so much fun talking with Kyle. I really can't wait to do it again. I know we'll talk again in the future. Our paths will cross. I'll see him at a show. We'll run into each other at a subway. I don't know. Point is, I had a great time. He had a great time. Or so he told me. If it was a lie, I don't want to know. My heart might not be able to take it. Enough of me. Enough of me. Here's the interview with Kyle Stratton of Atala on the SNR.
For Atala, you guys have your new album dropping on the 26th?
Yeah, Labyrinth of Ashmedai, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So that I was listening to Death's Dark Tomb earlier, basically all day, because that was the single I got from it. And dude, that's a fucking one soundscape of a song.
Yeah, it's pretty massive. The whole album isn't necessarily like that. It kind of goes back and forth. It's all heavy in its own way, but it's not exactly every song sounds the same. But that song itself is just a big ball of sludge, you know.
Dude, it really is. You know, but I mean that's a good thing. I really like the big, you know, one thing I like about doom sludge kind of metal is that it's almost like in a way it's kind of like orchestral. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's the thing that attracts me to the heavier style of music is the bands sound different, and it's musical in a sense, even though it's very simple, but it's what it is it feels like the music is thought provoking. It's not just like trying to play as fast and technical as you can. It's when we write these songs, it's like, how are we going to make people feel something, you know? So like if you're saying orchestrated or orchestra, like an orchestra and how it evokes feelings, and it doesn't necessarily always have to be complex. It can rely on vibe, you know.
Yeah, definitely. So you mentioned when you guys write it, how do you write songs like that? Because I know this one clocks in at what, like just over 8 minutes?
Yeah, you know, it's harder for us to write shorter songs than it is long songs.
Really?
Yeah, I think it comes into like for me, I like to let the other players who are on the album play and have space, and because I sing and play guitar, it's good to have interludes where the drums are able to have their space, or the bass is allowed to have its space as well.
Yeah. I mean, I play myself. So I know what you mean, kind of sitting back and riding off with kind of like what the room's feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when you guys are like writing and stuff, do you just kind of like write a groove and then build around it, or is it like, okay, we have an interlude and do you kind of break it out almost methodically like a chart?
It's kind of like a long process for us. We like to really demo things a few times and then try different arrangements.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, it's like I come into the room with a riff or a series of riffs, and then I just kind of throw them at the guys and see what sticks with them, and then we go from there. People will add in textures and stuff like that, and then once I put the vocals together, I like to put the vocals together after the song is nearly finished. That way, I can write the vocals around the general feeling that we're creating as a team, you know?
Yeah.
And then once the vocals are written, then we'll really get into the nitty gritty. We'll be like, okay, this part we're gonna put a jam, you know, and then I'll build a guitar jam and stuff like that, and everybody will build their little parts to it.
That's awesome. I like again, from what I've listened to you guys, I really like that there's a lot of space. It's wide open sonically.
Yeah, I think it helps to have that the opening for me
Hmm.
when it's big and the sound of my guitar. I play through two cabs and two heads, and lots of fuzz and heavy distortion. It needs to have that space to really let that tone carry and just sound heavy. It's like if you try to play too fast or you try to cram too much in, it just never really feels right. So it's like about like playing slow and the feeling that we're trying to create is almost like if you're walking through a wilderness and there's like a wild animal and he's not going to run up to you and be like, "Hey, we're going to fight." He's going to stalk you very slowly and just creep behind you, and that's kind of what we're trying to do.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So you you mentioned your amps.
Yeah.
We're coming back to this though. But you mentioned your amps, and I saw your rigged video on
Mm,
Gear Gods.
yeah.
How long have you been playing?
Oh man, I started playing guitar. Man, I started playing guitar at about 16 years old. And then I've had three-piece bands, just a series of different three-piece bands since I was 19 years old. And that's all I really did with my whole life is just play guitar and I tattoo. So I've always just been an artist. I've never had what people have like their 9 to 5 jobs or whatever. I just kind of always played my whole life. My whole adult life, I've played music and made art.
Oh man, that's awesome. I didn't know you were a tattooist too.
Yeah, I own two tattoo parlors and I do both. I tour with bands and I tour tattooing, and I'm also at home tattooing, married with kids. I own a couple houses. Like
Holy
I'm just,
shit.
yeah, I'm an artist. That's what I do, full time.
Yeah, and not just an artist, but one who can say that they can really live the life that they want to live while doing what they want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm lucky. I just kind of I made choices early in life that people said weren't going to necessarily be the right choices.
Uh,
And for some reason, it all just worked out for me. And I'm one of the lucky artists that has made a living and a successful career off of art in the underground. So,
yeah, that's fuck, dude. That's so cool. I'm always so blown away when people who kind of say fuck it. You can't tell me what I can't do. Do what
exactly.
they want to do and make it. It's always just so impressive to me. Because I tried that. I got my ass kicked a little bit. I had to go the corporate route for a little while, but I never gave up on it. I still just
Yeah.
kind of wish myself that I had never let my ass get kicked.
You, it's hard. It's hard because in our society, they'll tell you, everyone kind of tells you to do the same thing. You're supposed to trade like hours of your life away to a system of slavery. Like people, again, I told you I was going to say things that people don't necessarily relate to, but I think that the corporate world, we have to go into it. I worked there for a couple years while making art. I did work a couple years in the corporate world, but it felt like slavery to me because the way I looked at it is I was trading hours of my life away
Hmm.
for whatever amount of money they pay you for that hour or whatever. And then when you get down to the nitty gritty of it, at the end of the week, you spend so much of your life working for this corporation and not really making money, taxes coming out, all this stuff. You really don't have anything to show for it. And you're supposed to work towards this retirement that might never come.
Right. Yeah, and then you get kind of caught in the loop. You work to do what you want, and then the things you want you got to have, and you go to work, and then you do and.
Next
It,
thing you know, you don't even have time to experience the things you want to experience.
right, because you're working to try to afford the things you want to experience. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, and you just do the things you want, money will come.
Yeah, well, the way I always looked at it is like, if I like it, then there's someone else out there that will like it. And a lot of people when they're making art, they'll tell you to make art that is more commercially appealing.
Yes.
Um, and I had always had the mindset of I want to make something that isn't commercially appealing because I feel like that doesn't come natural to me.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of people doing that. So what I always wanted to do was do something that was a little more pushing the envelope because I had always listened to bands that were more aggressive, like punk rock, like Black Flag, Minor Threat, stuff like that growing up. So I knew that if I was attracted to it, that there was other people attracted to it. And I just kind of was lucky enough to find my niche. And it ended up being with my type of people who are rebellious and skeptical and angry, and it seems like those people gravitate towards me, luckily, and they've always kind of supported my career.
I mean, like minds attract like minds.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's really weird because ever since I started doing like the show, with the podcast and everything, or just going around, because I like to do band photography and the whole 9 yards. If it's music media, I like to do it.
Good for
So
you.
thank you. So when I started, kind of like you said, just kind of doing what I wanted for what I wanted, it attracted the kind of people who were in the same vein, who were kind of doing the right things to support what I wanted to do. So I 100% get you on that.
Yeah, it's like when you start doing stuff like that, regardless of how much money you're making or what people would perceive as success,
Yeah.
you're successful just because you're doing something that makes you happy and you're surrounding yourself by other people who it makes them happy. So the gratification is in A, doing something that makes yourself happy, and B, finding other human beings that want to live a similar life as you and experiencing a connection with them.
Yeah, I can't agree with that any more than I possibly can express. Because nobody does. Everybody, with the different bands around here, at least around here, I'm from the Detroit area. So a lot of people around here are, oh, I want to play like this guy. I have to write songs like this to get played on the radio. It's not fun.
I think it's completely the wrong path to take. I think that what happens is you start creating something kind of generic and people don't pay attention to it. And
It's what I like to call commercial music.
yeah, you might as well go to work in a corporate office.
Yeah. You see like an AutoZone commercial comes on and their songs in the background, nice and
Oh yeah. I hear Doors songs in I think I heard a Doors song in like a Mercedes-Benz commercial one time, and I thought to
what?
myself, like Jim Morrison is rolling over in his fucking grave right now. Like there's no way that guy would have been down with a Doors song on a Cadillac or a Mercedes or whatever commercial.
Right.
Like, so they had to wait till this dude died before they did that, because he would have
Because he
fought.
wouldn't fucking allow it alive.
Exactly.
Oh shit. So you mentioned like the Doors and Black Flag and stuff. What's on your kind of day-to-day playlist?
Oh man, I listen to so much stuff. There are bands like the doom and sludge scene that I listen to, and I like to drop those bands like High on Fire, Yob. I
Yeah.
like Paul Bear. Mono Lord is like one of my favorite bands. Like these are bands now that I'm super into. I Hate God.
Yeah.
But I listen to such a wide range of everything. I like hip hop. I listen to like some like hardcore rap, like Immortal Technique, Necro. Like I dig that stuff because I'm super into like anything that comes from the streets, and I like the old West Coast rap too, like Dr. Dre and Snoop, Tupac. But it's hard to say I listen to this or I listen to that. I listen to Pink Floyd, Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins. Like I'll listen to radio stuff too, and I'll listen to Sepultura, Morbid Angel. Like I mean, I'm all over the place, man.
That's awesome. You mentioned Nirvana. I am the biggest, I guess you could just say, Dave Grohl fan that I've personally ever met.
Yeah.
First tattoo was a Foo Fighters tattoo, and it's crazy. I love them. So sorry, I throw in Foo Fighters pretty much everywhere. It's
Oh, Dave Grohl's amazing, man.
it's a disease. He really fucking is. And like
I
doom
think
metal,
he's
did you listen to Probot?
that's a great album. Every
Fuck
single
yeah, it
song is
is.
amazing. Every single song is amazing. My favorite one is the King Diamond song, though. I love the King Diamond song.
Yes. Oh.
Like
The
Dave
whole...
Grohl should write every fucking King Diamond song.
He should really be doing a lot more of the heavy stuff, I think.
Yeah, he's amazing. I mean, to me, Nirvana really found their path when he entered the band. You know, like the first album, Bleach, like people want to be like, oh, I knew about Nirvana before anybody. Well, it's kind of hard for anyone to know about Nirvana before anyone, but
Right.
that Bleach album before Dave Grohl was pretty fucking good, but you know, everything after Dave Grohl that they did was just phenomenal. I mean, Kurt Cobain was an amazing songwriter,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like Dave Grohl had a lot to do with how that ended up being packaged and those songs started getting put together, because when he entered the band, they became the band, you know?
Yeah, I really agree. That's when they took off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you mentioned, well, you've been playing since you were 16. You know,
Mhm.
you've got a wide range of different artists and stuff. What did 16-year-old little Kyle Stratton, like who were his guitar idols when he started?
You know, that was right peak in the middle of Nirvana, you know?
Uh-huh.
So Nirvana, I fucking cried and missed a week of school when Kurt Cobain killed himself.
Wow.
So that was, it touched me that deeply, because when I heard that, um, I had heard stuff like Black Flag, Minor Threat, and the Germs and L7 and all this hardcore punk, which I really loved. I thought it was really amazing, but I also liked pop music as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time I ever fucking heard Nirvana, it was so touching, because I was like, this is music that touches on every emotion that I'm feeling. And that was just the most, to me, they were like what would be Led Zeppelin to my parents, or Black Sabbath. Like
Yeah.
when in that time, it was like Nirvana was it. Like I didn't give a shit about anything else.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to resonate with a lot of Nirvana songs.
Yeah, so real.
Yeah.
You know, that's what Kurt Cobain did. That other people, um, there's been people who have done it, but it's just very rare when somebody creates a piece of art that is that authentic. You know.
Yeah.
And I feel that way about him and Jimi Hendrix. Um, you know, maybe like even
Are you a
I don't
Stevie
know.
fan?
Yeah, totally,
Yeah.
totally, totally. And I think I like the Pumpkins too. I think they're really amazing. I don't know.
Nice. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest Smashing Pumpkins fan,
Mhm.
but they're fucking definitely great, man. I
There's
wouldn't
phases
turn
that they
down
went through.
tickets.
There's phases they went through where I thought it was pretty awkward.
Yeah.
But Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, that was another album when I was a teenager that was just kind of like really touching and artistic, you know. But at the same time, I was listening to metal at that time too. I was finding metal,
Yeah.
and
What were your metal scopes on?
I liked Pantera. Like I liked
Nice.
Pantera from the first time I heard Pantera, and
Does that automatically, like, by default, make you a Hell Yeah fan?
I don't really like Hell Yeah, to be
Oh.
honest. I love those guys. They're great musicians. I'm not super into Hell Yeah. I think
You
it's
just don't grog with what they put out. That's okay.
yeah. I think it's because I'm not really into like Mudvayne. I think isn't that like somebody from Mudvayne in that band too?
Yeah, Chad Gray's the singer. The singer for
Yeah,
Mudvayne is the singer for Hell Yeah. And I think one of the
yeah,
guitarists is too.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's the bottom line is it's good.
Yeah.
So I'll never put down a band that's good, you know, because I don't like their style or whatever.
Yeah, I think the first time I seen Hell Yeah was actually going to a Clutch show.
Ooh, Clutch is amazing.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
I've never seen another drummer like JP, especially live.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I love Clutch, and I love a lot of that stuff, like Fu Manchu. Um, During that era, like Helmet was fucking amazing too. All that, and everything that spawned from that is great too. It's hard. It's so hard for me because I have a tendency to just get locked into stoner and doom music like that,
Uh-huh.
and I try to like force myself to get into like other bands and other genres because it's so easy for me to just like sit there and like listen to the Obsessed and listen to Clutch and listen to Kais, and like I'll just sit there and dwell in that scene, like put on some Sleep and put on some Neurosis, and lately I've been really trying to dig into other stuff that I like as well because I get so stuck in that.
Yeah, well, I mean, kind of similar to that. Didn't you guys just play Roadburn too?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Well, this 2017.
yeah. That was great, man. I feel
I
like that
Tell me
show is
about that.
versatile.
Tell me about
Oh,
that.
dude, it was amazing. Like to me, we got to play with like a lot of the bands that I'm super into.
Yeah.
Like Paul Bear. We played with Chelsea Wolfe. Like I know some people it's like they don't like her, some people like her. I fucking thought Chelsea Wolfe's band was probably one of the heaviest bands of the whole weekend.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, we saw Sabrosa. We got to catch Sabrosa's set. We played 3 sets at Roadburn, so we were there for the whole weekend.
You played 3,
Yeah,
like
yeah, we
one each
played
night, or was it a couple during one of the days?
we played the industry like opening night, which
Uh-huh.
was like a it's like the night before the show. We
Okay.
played the opening night, which was like all industry people, like record labels, bands, like, and that was a rad show.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we played that night, and then we had that was like Wednesday, and then we had Thursday off, so we just kind of chilled and went to Amsterdam and did our thing, and then also made it to the show. And then Friday we played another set, and Sunday we played another set. So we had 3 sets, and it was really nice. We didn't play any of the big stages because we're a new band, but just to have the opportunity to be in with that group of people was amazing. It was an amazing step for us.
Yeah. Man, that sounds. Were you starstruck at all? Being there
I
that
tried
weekend?
not to be. We were backstage.
Everybody
It's weird.
tries not to be, but
It's weird because whenever I'm around them, those people, I always feel like I'm their peer, even
uh,
though even though I was, before that show, I'm playing in underground venues
yeah,
on floor shows and stuff, and I go to that show and it's like this massive show, but I've always felt, even though it never happened for me my whole career, I always felt like I belonged next to these people. So
that's awesome. That's comfort, man.
yeah.
That's comfort. It kind of takes the edge off a little bit, when you're sort of surrounded more so by friends than by ultra mega rock stars, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, Baroness, man, like that, I thought it was so neat watching him walk up stage with his little daughter holding her hand, and then he fucking like gives her a kiss and runs on stage and they start the set. And it inspired me because I have a 14-year-old son and a 7-year-old daughter, and when I saw that, I just thought like, you know what?
You could do that too.
Yeah, that's classy. Like
That is.
yeah,
Classy is
yeah.
a really good word for that. I was thinking that's fantastic. That was amazing. No, you kind of hit it on the head with classy there.
It's just super classy because you see a rock star, a giant rock star. He could be this dude that's doing these horrible things like taking advantage of groupies, young groupies, doing, overindulging in alcohol or drugs.
Yeah,
And instead, he's got his wife and his daughter on tour with him. And I saw him in the chow hall backstage because they like prepared food for us and stuff.
cool.
And he was like sitting with his family, like right before he's about to go on. He's not off with his band doing drugs or drinking. Like he was like sitting and having a conversation with his wife and his beautiful daughter. And I thought it was like the most impressive thing that I had ever seen from a musician in my life.
Wow, that really is. I mean, there's the whole everybody wants to fucking party and it's a huge show, so we're celebrating before, during, and after it. But kind of that guy knows what he wanted. He had his family with him right before a huge show kind of thing.
Yeah, he's all business and he knows his priorities.
So are you gonna try and follow that up at all? Are you gonna try and follow that show up at all?
Yeah, we have we're playing in Texas. We're playing South by Southwest this year,
Oh, sweet.
and everything that's going on with the band right now is we're trying to take the next step. The what I've been talking to with management is I would rather do like one-off shows that are gonna help Atala get to the next level,
Uh-huh.
rather than playing the underground touring scene, which is what I've kind of always done.
Right.
I I would prefer to like fly in like we did to at Roadburn, and now that the band is getting like a little bit of recognition, that's what I want to do. I just want to play maybe 10 shows a year, uh,
Right,
and
but
make them count.
yeah, exactly, make them count.
Yeah.
So are you guys doing something for the for the album release? Excuse me.
We have two shows. I got to go to NAM and do some interviews in the morning, but we're playing two release shows. On the day the release comes out, we're playing like in the low desert. It's like an hour and a half away from our house. And then we're playing the LA date. And then we're going to be off. And then in March, we have that South by Southwest in Texas.
Hmm.
So it looks like we're going to be going on tour with a band on the label called Earthride.
Okay, cool.
And we're looking to do like a West Coast tour and then head over to Texas and then route back somehow. So
It sounds like
that'll be fun.
yeah, that sounds like a great time. So I kind of want to loop back to your album, Labyrinth of Ashmedai, right?
Hmm.
Ashmedai. I did want to make sure that I said that right.
You did.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I caught on YouTube you guys have some stuff from your previous albums. What was different kind of going into this one? I know that Jeff and I did my research, okay?
Yeah.
I know that Jeff in another interview said that this one was a lot more raw, a lot more gritty. Almost like, paraphrasing here, but almost like you kind of kicked on the overdrive a little bit more for some of these songs.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how I'm experiencing it as a consumer. But what was it like behind the microphone? Like for you guys approaching it, how was that?
The last album I wrote during a time when I was like ill and I was facing like a life-threatening illness.
Oh wow.
So the last album was like really mellow and like reflecting. But I had like a major surgery during the time that we were recording the last album,
Uh-huh.
and it was a 2-year healing process.
Holy shit.
And during that healing process is when we wrote the new album. And everyone was I was supposed to be bedridden for 10 weeks, and then I was supposed to like take it easy for 6 months. And ultimately it was like 2 years of like not lifting weights, not doing anything very heavy,
Uh-huh.
stuff like that. And people all around my life were trying to make me relax and not work, because I'm like I'm a workaholic. Like I like to work like 60 or 70 hours a week.
Yeah. Wow.
And everyone around me was like, take it easy. Well, I was supposed to be in bed for 10 weeks. After 2 weeks, I was up and I was working, and I was heading to my tattoo shops and taking appointments and then getting to jamming with the band. We played a festival 3 weeks after the surgery, even though I wasn't even supposed to be out of bed. So,
Right.
but I just said no. I said, if I stay in bed, then I'm never gonna
Get out of it.
rehabilitate,
Right.
So I just said, dude, I'm gonna work through it, and I'm gonna try to take it as easy as I can while still working. And that's what I did, and I wrote that album during that time, because a lot of people, they face life-threatening illnesses and they find like religion through it or
Yeah.
some sort of belief, but that's not what happened to me. Like I I don't know, I turned to sort of a nihilist, and I started just thinking that life is just nothing, and we're just here as long as we can. And lucky enough, I got a surgery that gives me more time on this earth, so I don't want to waste that time. And it was a lot of anger, just towards society, and towards just a lot of things. I realized, like, when I got a longer life, I was like, man, what is it for? Like, fuck this place. Like, I fucking hate this place. And that was what the album was just like, fuck. now I'm gonna make it. So I want to express the truths about what I'm feeling about this world. I don't want to come back and be like, oh, everything I thought as a young person, like I was wrong. I faced
Right.
death and now, but no, I was like, fuck that. It's all bullshit still. I'm still here. I'm still gonna fight. And that's what the album was about, was just like, I'm not quitting. I'm not fighting. I'm grinding, And
Yeah,
that's why it was gritty.
that's awesome. It's you can always kind of, at least how I view it, you can always kind of feel a little bit of what you're kind of dealing with, what the artists are dealing with behind their albums. Like you said, like you're recovering through it, and you said, fuck it, I'm gonna fight through it, I'm gonna struggle through it, and do it my way. You can
Yeah.
always kind of hear that sort of reflecting through the albums.
Yeah. I agree, man. And this was the most, like, there's 6 songs on the album because the
Mhm.
songs are kind of long. And 3 of the songs are like brutally aggressive, like no clean vocals. And that's something that I really never had done before. Like, I always did mostly clean vocals, and then I would add some screaming into parts to add emotions and stuff.
Mhm.
And that album, there were certain songs where I was like, dude, I don't want any clean vocals in this. I don't want any melody. Like, I seriously just want to yell and scream for fucking 8 minutes. And whether,
Sometimes you gotta fucking let it out.
yeah, and whether people get it or not, fuck it. Like they say, as you get older, because I'm aging, I'm gonna be 40 next month.
Happy
A
early
lot of
birthday.
people. Thank you. A lot of people are like, why are you still playing that kind of music? Like, well, that's young people's music. And I don't agree. I don't
No.
agree. I don't think that you get to a certain point in your life and like anger just washes off of you.
Right, well, time to hang up that old metal hat. Might as well start listening to fucking reggae and smooth jazz.
Yeah, like people believe that like rebelliousness is something that you grow out of.
Right.
And I don't believe that. I think rebelliousness is something you were born with. And some people were born to be rebellious and to like yell and scream and fight and kick. Just like there's dogs that you can't keep in the backyard. They're always going to dig out
Right.
or break the fence to get out or fucking break the door. But there's certain dogs who are easily domesticated. I was not one of those easily domesticated animals. And
No.
and as I age, I realize it's not changing. It's not changing. Like, till the day I die, I'm gonna grit my teeth and fight against anything that tries to hold me down. You know, and my music reflects that. And if people want to take that as if I'm being immature, then they can think what they want. But to me, I just think that they've never learned to pull away from their leash.
Yeah, I mean, this. Have you ever given like talks or anything? Like
No.
really, not. I mean, not about rebellion, not about anything, but just about understanding who you are as a person. Like, understanding yourself, because you've seen, the past. Well, we've been talking about a half hour. You know exactly who you are, and it's not a lot of people can say that.
Yeah, if anyone ever wanted me to talk, or if I got to that point in my life where I mattered enough to help people change, that the thing with me is I've never seen myself as a leader. I'm not a follower, but
Right.
I don't necessarily want to lead people either.
Right.
But that being said, if there was ever a time that I can help somebody, especially like a kid who is rebellious and different, and people want to break this kid, because that's what happens. I think that's why people don't understand who they are, is because they let people break them and they become what they're told to be, and they forget all about who they were supposed to be.
Right. And then we could have just lost somebody who would have created something that would change how everything is even viewed, whether it's musically, painting, writing, whatever.
Science,
So
whatever.
exact science. Fuck, that's another
Yeah.
kind of big one there.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is if we're not allowing people to find out how special they are,
Hmm.
and every person is special. I don't care. I don't think that I'm exclusively special. I think in the beginning, from the day we're born, every single person is special, and everyone has something that they were supposed to do.
Hmm.
It's just that a lot of people don't figure it out. You know.
Yeah. Are you? So I mean, I know, it's a lot of people, when I ask this, a lot of people take it religiously. That's not how I'm meaning it. But are you a destiny kind of guy, or are you like a blank slate kind of guy?
Man, it's hard because I'm so skeptical. The older I get, the more skeptical of any kind of belief in anything I become.
Uh-huh.
But for some reason, the thing that's always stuck with me is destiny and purpose, and there's a part of me that still believes that every person has a destiny.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Even being skeptical, I still believe that each and every one of us was born to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, lightening it up just a little bit here.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
mean, it gets heavy, but you know what? I mean, it's good to get there sometimes. And like I said, I kind of wanted to get to know you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. But I got another question. Now, I've been wanting to ask. It's a two-parter. Ever since I seen like a picture of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
One, your beard. What the fuck, man? How?
Dude, you can see my ass, dude. It's fucking hairy too.
Is it Viking braids?
Yeah, dude. All I could think of is somewhere in my family there are some hairy bastards that lived in some cold places. Because I don't have no problem growing hair, except for on the very top of my head. I lost that when I was like 17.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's a cruel joke.
Yeah, but fuck, dude, that beard there should be like a religion to that. And then the part number 2B, whatever the fuck you want to name it, is why the fuck isn't Jeff's beard like that?
Dude, you say that in front of him, he'll get jealous, man. He hates everybody always talks about my beard.
Like, I've seen him have a couple, a little bit of scruff in some pictures. He's, goatee or whatever in one of them. I'm like, dude, come on, get with the picture.
He just doesn't commit, man. Like every time, like right now, his beard is looking really good. We don't have any recent pictures, but it's starting to get long. And he came to me the other day. He's like, man, I think I'm gonna shave off my beard. And I'm like, dude, you're gonna look like you're 12, man.
Right. just throw it at him. Just say, well, we can just keep talking about my beard then. And then
I just tell him all the time. I'm like, you're gonna get kicked out of the band then, man.
So did your bassist have a beard too?
Yeah, he goes back and forth. We have a new bass player that joined us right before Roadburn. And,
yeah.
He's a old bass player from another band, but yeah, he has a beard. Like everyone we know, like our whole group of friends out here, we live in like a very conservative, like military town.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so there's like a hippie counterculture that we're part of. That's like real, like hippy dippy, like against war and super liberal and like pro gay rights and women's rights, and like we're very like unity and just we're hippies, okay, like straight up. And our whole group of friends, like our identifying factor, because we live in a military town where everybody has to shave every day except for us. So what we do is we just have these giant beards so everyone knows that we're the counterculture, like we do what we want.
It's like a badge of honor almost.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah, tell him to get with the times, man. Beard up. Now, what is your number one piece of advice for getting? Because I know a lot of people who are like, I want to grow a beard like that. Like, is it just patience? Is it just let it do its thing?
Oh man, it's so hard. It's like when your old lady's bitching at you and telling you look like a homeless man. Just don't stop. You got to get through that phase. If you don't go through like the homeless beard phase, then you'll never get to like where it looks cool. And that's the problem, is it looks really nice when it's short and groomed.
Yeah.
And then it goes through this ugly phase that you just kind of got to deal with. And then once it goes through that ugly phase, it comes out glorious.
Super. Oh, dude, that's awesome. Well, I mean, we're coming up on the better part of an hour here, so I don't want to take up your whole night.
That was my interview with Kyle Stratton of Atala. I cannot thank him enough for taking that much time to talk to me. I thought it was only going to be about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. We ended up talking for about 40 minutes. way, 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 way more than I thought. You know, and I'm not the biggest doom metal, sludge metal kind of guy. Don't get me wrong, I like it. But I'm not the most familiar with it. So talking to this guy, talking about his music, the process, some of his favorite bands, a little bit of insight on it, it gave me a lot more of a connection to the genre. So I think it was successful. I had a ton of fun. I hope he did too. And that's this week's episode. Thank you so much for joining me on the SNR, the Static Noise Radio. I will see you all next week for another Metal Fucking Monday. Oh, and side note, this is not the first episode I've done this year. The first episode I've done this year got flagged and taken down immediately. It was the last Metal Fucking Monday. So, as soon as, some things are fixed around and people are talked to, you'll have a bonus episode one of these days. Again, thank you all for those of you that have returned. Thank you all for those of you that are new. I'm your host, Cass. Until next time.